Hey guys, Justin here, and welcome to the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix series. That's pretty cool that this is the unofficial official guide, and we're starting it off with a weird week in dirt. So a couple notes is that this lap time may or may not be good depending on the track state that you're running on, so keep that in mind, but all these fundamentals should carry over to whatever track state you are qualifying and racing on. So let's get right into the video.
.773. You've got the fastest lap.
All right, let's take a look at that. So, like I said before in the intro, I don't worry about the lap time too much here because your track state is going to vary per session, and we don't really know what it's going to be for qualifying yet, but this is a 30% track state. So what I want to do here is I want to make it a first lap. You probably can do a second lap. I don't see why not, but you might as well just go for a first lap and have 2 attempts for it. So the goal of dirt racing in a stock car, or pretty much any car, is to keep the car as straight as possible while still getting your rotation so that you can straighten out the cars early and get the power down. So with this new dirt refresh, it feels a little bit different, obviously. It feels a little bit more hooked up than I'm used to it being. So I'm just driving around the outside, but with my intention of getting the car pointed in the straight direction as quick as possible. So the reason I don't go to the bottom is because it would take me a long time to get the car straight. Whereas at the top, it doesn't really matter how fast or slow I go. It's just I can get straight earlier and put down the power and go in a straight line. So you see I over-rotate the car just a little bit early so that right here, you can see I am like full power down right here, completely straight, don't have to really turn the wheel at all. And this is what's going to get me my momentum for the lap. All right, so the number one thing about entering turn 1 is not to overdrive. The start-finish line, very close to where you have to enter the corner, so a very common mistake if you're using relative or some sort of thing like that is to overdrive entry trying to drive through the start-finish line. You don't have to drive through the start-finish line here. You see I'm getting off the gas just before the start-finish line. You see that? I am off the gas before the start-finish line, or else I would overdrive the corner and have a really bad angle. So there's 2 different approaches that you can take here on Knoxville. You can get all the way to the bottom and kind of just hook the bottom all the way around, or you can run like half a groove up and then slowly turn down the hill as you're going and make a straighter exit line. And that's what I found the most success in, at least on this track state. You see that I'm not quite at the bottom, but because I'm not quite at the bottom, I'm able to straighten my car out incredibly early and drive off the corner with a lot more momentum. So you see my relative here, that's comparing it to a lap where I just hooked the bottom. So I gave up about a 1/10 of a second early by not being at the bottom, cutting the track the most I possibly could. But the reward that I get for doing that is now my car, I'm able to straighten out my wheel completely right here. So right here, I'm able to straighten out my wheel. And like I said before, you cannot really put the power down completely until your wheel is completely straight. Or else you're just going to get tire spin. And not only is getting tire spin kind of useless in terms of gaining speed, but now you're going to be wearing your tires with the new dirt update. So if you are putting the power down while your car is too sideways, you're now just wearing your rear tire and making your subsequent laps even slower. So you see here, hold it at about half-ish throttle, slowly raise it as we go along the corner, get that straight exit angle, and then once I get the wheel turned back completely straight, we put the power down and gas off the corner. That's turn 1 and 2. Same idea in turn 3 and 4. Can't really say that there's all too much different here. I'm still going for that half a lane up line. I'm still getting sideways, but not too sideways. And then I'm still waiting for the car to get straight before putting the power down. So you see, I might be turning the wheel a little bit to the right, but compared to where I was, I am not going full throttle until I'm unloading the wheel. And this is pretty darn extreme for steering, especially as an oval guy, but the car was still relatively under me at this point. So I'm just trying to get that rotation. One thing that I've noticed, and you'd have to ask a super amazing dirt guy to know if my theory is correct, but I always liked having my nose just lined up straight with the edge of the bump or the apron or whatever. So you see throughout the whole corner, my goal is I'm just pointing my nose so that it is in a completely straight line with the apron here. And then so finally when the car wants to straighten out, I don't run into the apron, I just cut down there and get early on the throttle and drive straight up off the corner and carry good momentum. All right, cool. So that is a hot lap here. Could be fast compared to what the actual track state is going to be, or it could be slow, but we'll just go over some more fundamentals here on the long run. All right, let's put some laps in and talk about what to expect during the race. So this is going to be a bit of a Wild West type dirt race because this is the first race after the dirt refresh entirely, especially on the NASCAR trucks. So I just have a feeling that it's going to be a bottom feeding race. Knoxville usually is in these type of cars to my knowledge, but something about how the car is kind of gripping up and kind of driving along the bottom just makes me think that the outside ripping the cushion, I don't really see it. And I'm not the greatest dirt mind in the world, don't look at my dirt iRating, but I know a little bit about these stock cars on dirt, and just the way these things carry momentum, I think that it's really hard to put the power down entirely. And I'll show you what I think about the top in a second here, maybe the next corner. But the goal of this run entirely is just to not let the car get too sideways. And you see, yeah, it's kind of hard up here. And the distance that you're losing to the bottom is just so low. I'll try to get a better attempt here at a top lap. And this is on about like 30% track state, so it's going to get more worn in than this. Maybe on the super worn in track state you'll get some success up here, but I just think finding this line on the bottom, you just shave off so much time and you still have a pretty decent drive off the corner. I'm able to get almost full throttle off the corner. That didn't seem like something that was very possible before in the truck in dirt. I'm still very reluctant to put it to 100% throttle. It just seems like not much gain for a lot of potential wheel spin and hurting your car. I think that the best line is really just getting to that bottom and hooking it, but if you kind of miss it, you can kind of late apex the corner and do fine. You see I'm getting the throttle down a little earlier like that, but it's still not really gaining any time. But like if you're really able to get down here, you can kind of just shortcut the track a little bit, and your drive off is still going to be pretty decent. I think I was a little too late on the throttle there. But like this middle right here, it depends on how the track, where the rubber's in, moisture, all that fun stuff with dirt. But I think that at the end of the day, the lanes are going to be between the very bottom and maybe like up here at the very highest. So really work on just keeping your car on at a controlled slight sideways throughout the corner, not letting it step out too much, just holding a smooth throttle, letting the car come to you, and then pulling down the throttle when your car is just pretty much straight. Because tire spin here is not going to really grant you anything. You just want the angle that comes with it, but for actual momentum, you really got to wait till the car is pretty much straight. So you see I'm kind of pointing down on exit when I missed the entry like that. Still not too bad of a lap of a corner. And you see if I overdrive the corner a little bit like I did there, it'll slide up. So that's a good note too, is don't overdrive the corners because you will pay for it on exit. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Like you can definitely get a slide job done as long as you're not going all the way up to the wall. I think like a slide job will look more like this, where you go all the way down to the bottom like that, but then you only like slide up like this much. Because I don't think sliding up all the way to the wall is going to do anything besides give your opponent a bigger hold to cross you over with. I'll try it again on this next lap here and we'll see the delta. Just watch this delta as I like really dive bomb entry like this, and then I gotta slow down all the way up here, and it's just I'm like in no man's land, losing tenths and tenths and tenths of a second. So I think if you're gonna dive bomb, you can only dive bomb from like low to middle. Don't dive bomb from low to high, because I just think the top in this combo as it is right now, I just think that the top is no man's land. Yeah, it's not. It's honestly, I think after the refresh, I don't know if I'm just a little more comfortable on dirt, but this just feels a little easier to drive for me than stock cars used to be on dirt. A little more predictable. The counter steer doesn't seem like it's like it doesn't feel like I get that snap counter steer that I usually got when like a car would grip up mega for no reason and just hook back to the right off the corner. I'm not really feeling that anymore. But I still don't really love the 100% throttle.
2.419.
I really like just getting as straight of an exit as possible out of the corner, but who knows how viable that'll be with a bunch of cars around you. At the end of the day, this is just going to be a caution-filled mess, most likely, which is alright. What do we expect? But it's more about just learning the feeling of the track and being able to adapt to it. So I'll do a couple more laps here. Still feel pretty good on here. Able to get the power down at some points, but I'm completely fine with being 80% throttle on the straightaway. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We'll do one more lap here. We're coming to the checker, we'll call it. And then we'll check to see our tire wear, because that is the thing now, tire wear. And I think this bottom line at the same time will also help with tire wear. But again, not many of us have put in enough laps on the new dirt to really know exactly how tire is affected on dirt. But let's go check it out. 97, 94, so definitely the right rear is what you want to save over the course of a run. So the straighter that you can keep a car in the corner while still being able to turn, the better it's going to be on your right rear. So if you're able to like really take some conservative bottom feeding laps where you're not stepping out almost at all, that will pay dividends to where you can be more aggressive towards the end of the race. So keep that in mind if you find yourself in a bit of a hole, if you want to save a little bit of tire, but that's not always going to be completely feasible with people running around you. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.